Okay, hello everyone. I'm so excited for tonight. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, so I am very thankful for everybody hopping on this evening. I know this week has been like jam-packed with stuff and things. And so you guys taking out time every Wednesday to come and hang out with us, I think is super important and I very much appreciate it. So without further ado, we really just wanted to come on here and touch base as to what happened in Calgary. And like legit guys, like my brain is still processing it. Like I came home on Sunday and my heart was so full of like gratitude as well as like I think utter shock. I think it was shock that I came home with because when you start a business, when you start with a company, there's always so many questions and you're always like, hey, like, is this really as small as they say it is? Is it really as like ground floor? You know, what is the culture like? Like I'm told that the culture is like super bomb and like everybody's welcome and blah blah blah. Um, what are some other things? Like, oh, that they're invested in each and every one of us as individuals, like that kind of stuff. And so when I first started, like I came from a very oversaturated market. Okay. So like a company that had 38% saturation, which is in freaking sane. 38%. Like gross. Okay. So for me, before I joined Q, I was always messaging people. They knew about the company. Maybe they had tried something before, maybe they hadn't, but everybody kind of had an opinion about it, right? So when I started with Q, I looked online and there wasn't a lot. There really wasn't a lot. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like that's a good thing, but I feel like I'm like walking in blind. So, I went to convention in Utah that literally blew my mind as to how like business centered it was. And then I went to Florida and again, I could not believe that I was sitting in Florida with Marielle, hanging out, eating supper with her, chilling out, like with Ann Billings, just hanging out in the living room with us. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just this whole shock. So I think Calgary really wrapped it up for me because I had only traveled to the States before. Okay. So I was the lone Canadian, usually, right? Or maybe two or three of us, right? We're the lone Canadians walking into this, and everybody's pretty much American, right? And so going to the Canadian owners tour, the biggest thing that literally stood out for me was how small this is in Canada. And that is such a good thing. Okay. Because I was sitting there and I'm looking around, and there's like maybe 100 people in that room, maybe, like that's being generous, 100 people in that room. And you sit around and you look, and these are people from all of the West Coast that are coming, that are involved in Q and that are committed to Q. And when they start going through promotions and ranks and things that are happening in Canada, um, Elite is announced, and I'm only crossing the stage with 7 other people. What? That's huge. Jamie's bronze is announced, and she is one of 2 people that went bronze. Karina is announced, and she's the silver that got announced. And I want you guys to think about this in perspective, because when you come from an oversaturated market, it's very apparent to us, right? So to us, it's very apparent. It's very like, holy crap, like this is completely different. But for somebody just walking into this industry kind of blind, like we have a less than 1% saturation rate. Let that sink in. Less than 1%. We are live in 26 countries. And so for us in Canada specifically, we have such a huge opportunity in front of us. Yeah, it's going to take work. It's going to take building. It's going to take, flying with maybe some new ideas, new systems, like the event that we had last night that freaking killed it. We had like 260 people on there. Okay. We are the pioneers. Like Mark literally stood on stage and said, we are the pioneers of Canada. Every single person in that room. And you get to choose whether you are or not. So yeah, you got in early. Awesome. We all got in early. In Canada right now, we're early. We're right on time right now. But if you don't work your business, if you aren't enrolling, if you aren't getting things moving, getting traction, getting exposure, awareness, then we're going to miss out on it. And so for me, my hugest takeaway was the opportunity that we literally have at our fingertips right now. Like I am blown away. I'm blown away. And I think that like there were moments that when I was in Utah, I was like, okay, yeah, this is small. Like this is very small. This is new. This is different. Going to Florida, yeah, this is different, whatever. But the fact that we stood in a room and each and every person in that room got to go and talk with Mark for however long they wanted to, I was in awe. I was in awe that they were so willing and courteous and excited about what we have here in Canada, and that we're not even an open market here yet. What? That's insane. That's insane to me. This is literally like somebody coming to you before Facebook started and saying, yo, do you want to get in on this? It's going to take work. It's going to take grit. I'm going to need your help with software development or whatever. But do you want a part of it? Hell yes, I do. Hell yes, I do. And so coming off of that, I was so excited. I want to say one more thing before I wrap my part up, because we have some other wonderful ladies that are going to share their biggest takeaway. But when I came home, I went to a benefit for, Ukraine and for raising money. And I thought about how wonderful it is to live in this country. And so I had a couple ideas, and I reached out to Marielle. She messaged me back and she's like, here's my personal phone number. Text me whenever. I think this is a great idea. Blah, blah, blah. Who do you know that is a top income earner with any company that will just do that? I said to her, I know that this isn't an income producing thing, but I think it would really impact, it would impact you, it would impact the world. And I'm very passionate about it. And she's like, for sure, let's talk about it. I want to make sure that it gets to the right people. That's freaking cool. So that's my little bit. I am going to now hand it off to Alex. And yeah, we're just going to tell you guys kind of how mind blown we are. So go ahead, girl.
Hey, so when Mark was talking, I would say for me, it was when he said, never compare your journey to someone else's. Your journey is your journey, because I am like my own worst enemy comparing my life to other people. And like, you can't do that, because just because you're behind someone, say like not buying a house or a car, doesn't make you any less of a person. So that was definitely like my biggest takeaway. That was it.
I love that so much though. Like, I mean, and a big thing for me is like your rank is not your worth, right? Like you don't need to compare yourself to anybody. You don't need to put yourself on a pedestal or under one or, in the background like that. Your worth is defined by you. And that's it. That's all you need to worry about. So I love that. I love it. Awesome. Who's going next? I lost my list. Mercedes.
I was gonna say the same thing as Alex, but I also really loved Hannah's part and sharing that she's like in recovery and stuff. It makes me feel like I kind of fit in somewhere. So that was my main big thing, because I never really felt like I fit in anywhere. So yeah. So it just feels nice. I'm gonna cry, so I'm good now.
That's so okay. And Mercedes, this was like your first event like ever going to. And so how did it feel to like be in that room with like all those people, with like the women that are surrounded with you on this Zoom right now? Like, how was it for you?
It felt good. I kind of never really had that, so it was a really new experience for me.
Yeah, I'm so glad you came. Guys, Mercedes literally drove 3 hours with her baby and her mom and her other kiddo to come to the event for the day. Like, that is so huge. It's so amazing. And like, I don't know, Mercedes and I have like developed a really good friendship and stuff. And it was just so nice to actually see her in person and to see her little bug in person too. Oh my God, she's the cutest baby ever. But yeah, I'm so grateful that you were able to come. Megan.
Sorry, I couldn't figure out how to unmute. So the whole weekend honestly was very overwhelming. Sorry. So sorry. So a couple things Mark said really touched me, and it just like really meant everything. When he had said that he'd rather go all in and fail than fail knowing he didn't have the guts to try. So for me, that was huge because one of my biggest fears in life is to fail. So I just don't try. Because if I don't try, I never fail. So that was really, really big. Sorry, I'm like a hot mess. And then he shared the story about we're all a hot mess. Then he shared this story about when he went snowboarding with his son and he wiped off the snow in his glasses and said, "Don't you say a word. Don't you complain. Get up, dust yourself off. You said you were going to do this. Now get up and let's go." That was like, yep, that's what you did, Megan. You said you were going to do this. So dust yourself off, get up, and let's move. And the last real thing that kind of puts me in tears when I think about it is when Paige was on the stage and she's, sorry, I bawled at the thing. So I'm going to bawl now. When she had said that your work becomes your life and your life becomes like your family, and then they become your friends. So for me, I don't really have friends. So meeting all of you was like the most amazing thing. It was so overwhelming, but it was definitely worth flying across Canada, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So I'm beyond grateful for the weekend. That's all.
Megan, we are so grateful to have met you as well. Like, I guess I can't speak for everyone, but like you were such a wonderful woman, and like I'm in tears too. I'm very grateful as well, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for taking that journey by yourself. It is the scariest thing in the world, and you did it, and you came and you hung out with like all of these amazing badass bitches, and like you just slayed. Like it was so awesome. I'm just so proud of you. Um, Laura.
Okay, so my voice is kind of raspy, so sorry about that. But I had the best time ever. That was so fun meeting all of you guys, making you the sweetest little thing ever. Just want to squeeze you. um, it was really cool to see just like how small it is. Like you were talking about, like I looked around the room and I was like, okay, one, there's like 100 people here, which is amazing for like Canada. But still, like Mark and Anne and I forget the other guy who's always on the Q News, like they were all just like there and like in person. Like that's just like mind blowing. You could talk to any one of them. And like that's just, I don't know, that's so cool. Like we have such a cool opportunity. So I wrote down my little thing that stood out. So when Mark was saying like the can I do this is like the wrong question. It's will you do it? And like I get stuck in like, I don't know, I just in action. Like I know what I have to do and I know things and I watch all the trainings and I do all the stuff, but I don't flip it into action all the time. So I really just need to like what he said just really spoke to me. So he was like, just decide that you're going to do this. Don't try or see how it goes, but like genuinely decide you're going to do it and give yourself a chance. And being like sick and tired of not making a decision, like that was just like no doubt. It's better to go all in and fail than never have the guts to try. And when you finally make a decision, everything changes. You have complete focus, intentionality, you're all in, you're determined, and none of that will ever happen if you never make a decision. And that just like screamed at me. I was like, no doubt.
I love that all so much. Like you guys are literally like the big pinpoints from when from when I like what I took away, you're all like touching on them, and like even some things like I'm like, "Oh my God, yes, like I totally forgot about that part." So I'm so glad we're doing this right now. And just yeah, being able to meet each other and hang out and like have our people, I think was so freaking important. We're kind of like I love like we have a little group chat now. Sorry, everybody can be jealous. I don't care. But like we have a little group chat now, and it's like the cutest, funnest thing in the world. So I'm gonna pass it off to Kaylee. There you are. I was like, where is she? I'm gonna pass it off to Kaylee, and she's gonna share, and she's gonna wrap up for us.
Hi. Okay. So I like to be short and sweet. We all know this. So everything you ladies have said is very prominent for me. But I wanted to touch on the product previews and getting to an event. So like I've been to conference before, like a different company, right? We didn't get product previews. We paid out the ass, pardon my French, for stuff like that. And they weren't previews. It was released. That's how they released it. To be given those opportunities in that capacity is so different, right? And then especially if you're slacking, get to an event. Do what you can to change that slack, right? Like you have to relight your own fire. Because if nobody's doing it for you. That's the name of this game. Nobody's going to do it for you. You have to make the choice, has been said, right? And then just something I was thinking this the whole weekend, and I talked to Kat about it Monday, and I wanted to say, stop feeling like a phony. If you've done something before, if you've done this before, that is what this weekend just like reiterated for me, is you got to stop with that negative, right? And yeah, so that's my wrap up for y'all.
I love it so much. It's that like self-imposed narrative, right? That we like play for ourselves and give to ourselves. And it's getting to the point that like we just make a decision. Like I think you guys all touch base on like the fear and like feeling like we're not good enough and that imposter syndrome and the garbage that comes into our brains, and then just getting to a point that it's just like I make that decision and I make that choice. So and you guys are like so lucky to have leaders like Karina and like Jamie, that these women literally like they do, right? Like they make that decision and they do. And I'm so lucky to call them like my very, very close friends, right? Like, cause I've never had people like that like Jamie gives me no excuses, guys. Like she's like a no bullshit woman. Like I'll text her and be like, oh, my kids are like out of control and blah, blah, blah. And like, I don't think I can get my workout done this afternoon. And she's like, yeah, you can do it. Like there's just no, like she's just like, you can do it. Just do it, right? And that's what I love about this. I saw that Natalie is on here as well, and Natalie attended in Quebec. So I really want Natalie, if you're okay, if you want to like share a little bit about your Quebecois experience, I would love that.
Sure. Can you hear me okay? Good. I'm on my headphones. I never do it. So I wanted to come on because you guys said you looked around, you saw 100 people. Well, from the East Coast to Quebec, there was only just under 50 of us. So it's like 150 people in Canada. Like, I like to believe that almost everybody who could make it made it. So I was like, that's pretty blown away. And you guys basically said everything that blew my mind as well. The one thing that no one said was that he didn't have to do this. He retired twice, and he basically, I don't know if he said it with you guys, he's like, I was bad at retiring. I retired for 6 months, and he's like, I was just crappy at it. So, and he really wants to do this for us. So yeah, that's all I want to say. It was perfect. It was such an awesome experience meeting him, for sure.
Yeah, I know, right? And that's the coolest thing is like getting to an event, getting in person, seeing these people, and literally like allowing ourselves to just buy into it, right? Kristen and I had like an hour-long phone call yesterday morning just talking about like, mindset and how to move forward and how to change where we come from. And it's that buy-in stuff. It's literally like investing in yourself. Because for me, if I don't invest in something or if I don't say that I'm going to do something, guess what? I'm probably not going to do it. Okay? Because I'm also scared of failing. In my last company, I had a friend that turned to me and she actually told me, she's like, no, she's like, failing is not doing, or she's like, not failing is not doing, right? Like it's not doing. Failing is just like not allowing yourself to try anything. So failing is like, sorry, failing isn't you trying to do something and then not doing the best at it. Failing is when you just don't even try, when you give up. right? And so for us to like make that conscious effort for ourselves, and like each of us is such, like every woman on here right now, like we are strong, amazing, powerful women who like literally have been through the most insane stories. Like I can't even tell you about our last night, like me and Laura and Alex, like OMG, like just hearing these women's stories and like where they have come from and what they've been through and how wonderful and loving and kind they are and everything that they have to share with the world, right? Even Kaylee and I talked about that too. And then I saw she posted a reel today that was about her journey and where she came from. You know, those are big things, guys, like allowing yourself to just invest, buy in, do the things, allow yourself to partake in this, allow yourself to be a part of this because we are it in Canada. Like you said, under 150 people in Canada, under 500 active distributors in Canada, guys. This is huge, like huge. So let's just take it and run. Let's do what we need to do. Let's kick ass. Let's take names and like let's get moving, right? The only way that I people always ask me, how do I stay motivated? How do I get to a point that like I'm going to be driven all the time, blah blah blah. You're not. But it takes discipline. It takes discipline and commitment. And so if you're going to make that choice, if you're going to allow yourself this opportunity, like we're all here with you in it. So I freaking love it. I know that Karina's on here. I don't know if Karina wants to share anything. I didn't know she was gonna make it.
Hi. I just want to say one thing because you all know how sick I was feeling. I drank some of the Q Armor. It was the first time I ever drank it. And I drank it as tea with tea, and I feel better. Like I sounded like Laura this morning. I couldn't even talk. So you guys, you haven't tried that yet? Get on it. So that's one thing I'll say. But no, honestly, you guys, like even though I've been to so many of these kinds of events before, like I've gone to Florida and been in a stadium with over 20,000 people in it. And even just going to this, knowing that it was only going to be over 100 people, I still get nervous. I still get nervous meeting new people and getting on stage and all that kind of stuff. But like once I was there, like once I picked Alex up from her driveway and we instantly were laughing and like had the best drive, and then like all of us just had such a blast together. Like I don't know, I left that event feeling so grateful and so fulfilled, more than I ever have, than compared to going to a company that I was with for 6.5 years. Like that filled my cup and I felt ready to just rock when I got home. I was like, me and Jamie and Kat have been like bouncing ideas off each other these last few days because we're all just so excited for you guys because this is your time. And I know I know Alex has done stuff, but a lot of the people in this company haven't done anything like this before. So they don't even know what to compare it to. So those of us who've done companies too before, we're like, okay, we got this. But I think for us is just to continue this culture, you guys, and show our team what an amazing culture we have here, because I think that's so important, especially for those that don't really understand that what we have is something, it's just so amazing. So you guys said everything that I took away, and I also will never take that many natural supplements because you can overdose on natural supplements in one day. So don't do that. So that's one thing I learned. No, just kidding. You guys said everything that I took away. And I just want to say I love you guys so much. And I'm really excited to just continue rocking on with you. Yeah,
Thank you so much. Okay, well, there's no better time to end this than now. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for hopping on and sharing. I'm going to post this into the team page as soon as it's uploaded on my YouTube. And yeah, I love you all. Have a great night. Mwah. Bye.